I've been waiting for this moment on the channel for like maybe a year now, and it's finally happened. So to give you guys a breakdown, last year I bought a 911 in a 930 body, and essentially I've been wanting to make this car into something. And originally it was a track focused car and you know, lowered and slammed, but I think I've got an idea of what I want in a 911, especially an air-cooled 911, after meeting so many people in the space, and I want to go with the Safari build. So we're starting officially, as of right now, a Safari 911 build, and we're going to document that here on the channel. Now, for you guys, hey Ruger, what's up? Now we're going to be taking this build in stages. Right now, stage 1, we just got completed, and it's the engine stage. It's the fun stage. Getting this 2.7 liter back up and running. We fortunately didn't have to do a full rebuild, but we got darn near close to it, and it's only got 68,000 miles, I want to say. So it's not a ton of mileage. It just sat for so long, and if you guys know anything about these air-cooled cars, they don't like to sit. But where we're going to be picking this off at is pretty much, if your car's running and you want to build a Safari, hey, here's a playlist for you in which we're going to build out and talk about the pros, the cons. There's multiple ways to build a Safari, which a lot of people just go to the main, you know, big 3 and buy kits. That would be, you know, Elephant Racing, Killing Moss, there's Terret. There's a couple other I'm missing in there, but basically you just kind of buy whatever kit and then have a shop install it or install it yourself. Now we're going to be going with Group K rules though. Essentially that is more akin to the East African Safari Rally, and that's really, I think, the build I want to go after or go for as far as the inspiration for this. So we're building a car that's mirrored after the actual Safari race that has inspired the Safari 911, right? The original, the OG. And given that this car's history and it's a 76 in the heart, I think it fits pretty well with where we're going with this. Now purists, of course, are going to hate me. I've already got the hate mail coming in, and I've announced this to someone on Instagram, and multiple people want to either buy the car away from me or you know, just not see quote unquote another 911 destroyed. You know what, given that the car's got a 930 body kit on it anyway, I see it as unoriginal. I think I'm okay in that department, but also too, if you want to go see a pure 911, I think there's plenty in a museum. I'm not a museum guy. I collect cool things, that's for sure, but I collect things that'll get used. And my lifestyle here in Utah, I don't want to park a car in a garage, especially for these cars. That would be bad. I don't want to park a car in the garage for 6 months out of the year. And if I own a car, I would prefer to be able to drive it without limitations. I'm a no limitations guy. That's kind of the lifestyle I want to live, is say yes to everything and be ready for anything. So that's just me, you know, different strokes for different blokes, but no, I think this will be a good embodiment of a car that I wanted for a long time. Now guys, enough of me talking and introducing this build. May have shown you some renders in this video, but we're going to be getting to Eric in the suspension portion. Eric's going to be telling us what we're going to be doing differently than your traditional kit that you'll see online for a Safari 911. And yeah, without further ado, let's head on over to Eric.
So what are we doing differently with my car suspension versus the car behind you?
What we're going to be doing with the car that we're going to be building for you is a little bit different from what we have back here. This is kind of more your traditional Safari build of what you're seeing nowadays. You've got the Vaughn shocks, the torsion bars have been removed, RSR suspension kind of put up front, kind of what we call like a reverse RSR, where the RSR had the spindles raised so the car would lower. This one has the spindles lowered and gusseted so we can raise the car. So that's what we have on this car back here. What we're going to do with this build is we're going to do more of the Appendix K FIA kind of rules. That's the actual East African Safari rules. So we're going to be dealing with torsion bars, which a lot of you have. So if you're looking at this build, thinking, how can I do this and really create a killer off-road car, a great rally car, but not spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 on suspension, torsion bars are already in your car. So we're going to be showing you how you can do that kind of stuff. We're going to be lowering spindles and gusseting spindles on stock struts, so you'll see how that works. And we're going to be setting the rear suspension geometry. That combination with wheels, tire packages that we have out there, we should be able to get 4 inches of lift. We've done it on our own off-road 914 project we're working on. We have 14 inches of lift, not 14 inches of lift, sorry. We've done it with our own off-road car, the 914 we're working on, and we have actually 14 inches of ground clearance at the crossbar up front. So it's pretty cool. But we're going to show you how it works with Appendix K and the FIA rules, and we'll be building the car that Tanner's going to go and tackle Moab in. Okay, so here's one of the main differences here. You're seeing coilovers on the back. Great stuff. Bond shocks, hypercoils, coilovers in the back here. What they've done with this car is they've removed the torsion bars out of the torsion bar tube back here. So here's your fixed end of the torsion bar tube, and then the swing arms back here are what the other end of the torsion bar is normally attached to. But on a build like this, they've got a coilover system on here, so they can adjust the ride height. And as you can see, it's up pretty far here. So what they've done here, here's your spring perch. They've raised that up quite a bit. What we're going to do again, we'll be doing Appendix K stuff, FIA regulations. We're going to be doing the swing arms here. We're going to change the rake on those. So that's how we're going to get the lift on this car. We'll show you how that's done. Okay, and here up front, this is what we're going to be talking about. When earlier we mentioned a reverse kind of an RSR strut. What we have here, this is really cool. This is an RSR strut. And an RSR strut is kind of backwards of this, but again, coilover up front. You can see here, nobody in here. There's no torsion bar in here. Okay, no torsion bar adjuster, none of that stuff. That's all handled with the spring on the RSR strut and the spring perch. So RSR struts, it's kind of important to understand where they came from. When the factory was racing, you're out racing Sebring, you're Daytona. When you're out racing, you want different spring rates for different tracks. So that's where the RSR strut and the coilover came for the front of the 911. So this strut allows you to run coilovers up there. Again, no more torsion bars. So we're going to be doing it again a little differently. We're going to be doing Appendix K stuff, FIA rules, and we're going to have torsion bars in here. But we're going to do some of the stuff that they have here. So this is what we mean by kind of a reverse RSR strut. On the RSR strut, they will raise this spindle roughly 18 millimeters up here, and that brings this down, and that lowers the car. So on a factory RSR, they want to lower the car, but when we're building a safari car, we obviously want to raise the car. So what we're going to do there is just the opposite. We're going to lower this spindle as low as we can go, and you can see here on this strut here, they've lowered the spindle all the way down to the bottom here, and that raises the car quite a bit. So if you imagine a spindle, we're going to lower the spindle, we're going to raise the car up. We're going to raise the spindle, we're going to lower the car down. And that's what we've got here. So some of the other RSR features that you see, again, this is in reverse, so it's down, but the RSRs had gusseted spindles. So here's the gussets that are on the spindle. So we'll be showing you, basically, we're going to mill out the rosette weld. We're going to lower the spindles on the struts, and then we're going to gusset them as well, just like they did on the RSR. But with our car, because we're going to go by this rule book, we're going to stay away from the coilover, and we'll have a torsion bar. Most people don't necessarily need a coilover. They just need a good overall ride, and you can accomplish that with the torsion bar. So we'll get the right torsion bars in the car, set the ride height where we need it. Again, hopefully here, with a couple of inches here, almost 2 inches here, we should be able to get about 4 inches of lift by just doing this modification here.
Well, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your viewership. It means the world to me. Go ahead and leave a like if you like the direction of this project. Leave a mean comment if you think I'm ruining another 911. Always good to help. And hey, maybe your comment does sway me if it's persuasive enough. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors. Eric Shea from PMB Performance is helping out with this build and his entire team, so thank you guys. I couldn't thank him enough. Pelican Parts, you guys are amazing. I'm excited to be working with you, and we'll have a few more announcements here as for partners, but really excited to have the ones we have and the people helping out with this build. Oh, and well, I don't want to announce this sponsor because it's kind of a surprise, and a lot of people are going to hate me. It's going to be probably the most divisive thing on this build. Second most divisive. Third, one of the top 3 most divisive things on this build, but you know, I think you guys are going to enjoy this. I know I am, and this is a labor of love towards the 911 for me. So if you don't see it that way, hey, that's okay. There's a lot of 911s out there to love. So take care, guys. Appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe too. That's the last thing I'm going to say in this video. Subscribe. I know you aren't subscribed, so do it now. Okay, thanks.